What's up, everyone? How you guys doing? I went in front of my weapons wall today because we're gonna do a video on the katana. One of my own students asked for this video, so this is for you. So I have my katana here, and of course, it would be wrapped in my belt. I just didn't feel like breaking my cool knot because it's so nice and pretty when it hangs on the wall. But it will stay in my belt because the belt's pretty tight. And understand, for right now, we're just gonna have the katana out. And so I'm gonna show you guys some basic cuts and then also how to put these into combinations. So this is, like I said, gonna be your katana cutting class. The way I was taught is my first hand bumps almost right up to the tsuba, like I am touching it with my knuckle right here. And my secondary hand is right at the base of this katana. And please understand, I'm cutting mainly with the top portion of the katana, not with all of this. You're not gonna be like, wah, but you're literally gonna just be more elegant with it, I guess would be. So I'm gonna kind of go with a profile shot. I'm gonna be a little bit on the angle, mainly because I have a ceiling fan right here. I don't wanna break it. But when you do your first cut, your shomenuchi, downward strike. In karate, it'd be like a downward knife hand strike. That'd be a shomenuchi, or like in Aikido, we would call that just a downward strike. Because I guess technically a downward strike in karate would be, I forgot the word for knife hand all of a sudden. Anyway, so I have this here, and we do not want you guys to pull back like this and then cut down. That's not how you do a katana thing. It looks really cool for like certain photos for like Instagram and stuff when they do the stop action like rah, 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 and you get to see all the but it's not practical for fighting's sake. Instead, what you do is you're just up and then you pull down. And the idea is twofold. One, if you were ever in a situation where you might be sword fighting and it's like you versus them, well, if you pull back and let's say I get stabbed right here, well, my sword falls down. Whereas at least if I'm here and if I'm pulling down, I get stabbed, it's still gonna fall forward and I still have a chance to injure, if not kill my opponent. So, straight up, down. And when you finish down, I want you to think about wringing out like a rag or a towel, like it's a wet towel and you're gonna which is gonna bring your arm straight. So we're here, there. And you do not want this to hit the ground. One, I don't wanna damage my floor, but two, you don't wanna damage your own weapon. If this was sharpened and you're hitting the ground, you're killing your edge. So I'm here and I wring it out and I try to stop it about belly button height. That's again, the way I was taught in Japan. So I'm here. And this is a simple shomenuchi. And you could walk with this. I'm not gonna walk all over the mat because of the camera, but you get the idea. And now you have yokomenuchi. Yokomenuchi is gonna be an angled strike. And for the sake of today's video, I'm gonna go A, B, C, D, or E. So yokomenuchi A is where I'm here and I cut across. So if I'm facing the camera, I cut across. And since I'm a righty, I'll switch everything for you guys to copy at home. It's here and I pull it through. Here and you're pulling it across. And that's A. B is to come back. So you have A, you have B. A, B. You have C and D. And then you have E and F. So you have A, B, C, D, E, F. If I go to my right side, which is of course my much cleaner side, A, B, C, D, E, and F. So you have all the basic cuts. Now you have to have a thrust. And so our traditional thrust is here, our munitsuki, our straight attack. So it's just like this. It's not up, it's flat. And you want it flat. And it's really weird. We did an experiment with this several years ago, and we I bought some slab of ribs, and I had a katana seminar, and all based on the Iaido system I learned in Japan. And if you stab this way to the ribs, 9 times out of 10, it like hits one of the bones and it doesn't go through. But if you go flat, it somehow manages to slide right through, and it's really cool because we tested it just to make sure it did work. And so this is your munitsuki. Now let's talk about putting these in combinations. So your first one will be shomenuchi, okay? So shomenuchi into your thrust. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like that. I cut down and I thrust. I'm cutting down and I'm thrusting. And of course, it's natural for me to move because it's just how I was trained. And so as I go this is moving forward and my weight and everything is shifted and it's following into the target. I was shown this as well, this concept, this using the press, but I prefer to kind of keep the grip, but I probably do both on subconsciously without even realizing it. So that's your first combo. 1 into the thrust. Shomenuchi into the munitsuki. Your second combination is going to be your 2, okay, your 2A into your horizontal cut, okay? So 2 here. If this was A, this was B, this was C, this was D, you have A to D. Cut here, cut here. I start out 1, 2, just like that. 1, 2. That's your second combination. Your third combination, you're just gonna follow. You're gonna go here, but what happens is you fake it and you come around. Or maybe they defended. So your shomenuchi here, and then you break your wrist and then you come around and you're on that angle 2A. So straight down, break, and then cut. Straight down, break, and then cut. Facing the camera, just like that. Here, cut down, break your wrist, and then cut across. I try to keep a pretty stiff wrist for most of these. It's just when I have to get a certain angle to break for that is there. Okay, that's your third dual combination. Your fourth one is gonna go into 2D. So at this point now, I'm cutting down and I'm cutting back up. Here to here. And when you think of that 2, it's the draw. It's that cut up right there. We're just reversing it. We're cutting here, we're going here, right back up. Again, 1, 2. Profile shot, I'm here, cut, 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 cut. And then last but not least, you have your thrust first into your attack. So I'm thrusting and then I cut across. So here, blade is facing you guys, the camera, and then I simply flip it over and I cut. Again, we're thinking maybe they defended it, so then I just turn it into the next cut. If I'm facing the camera, so I thrust it here, and now I turn and I cut across. Thrust, cut. Thrust, cut. And now we're gonna move into combinations that are 3. So you have triple combination. So if you learn the individual cuts, if this was 1 single cut, that's 1 single cut, that's 1 single, 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 and single, and then we just went into doubles. Okay, now we're going to triples, 3 counts. So our first triple combination, I'm cutting down here, I'm turning, cutting here, and then I'm following it upward. Okay, so down, shomenuchi, followed by a yokomenuchi on the flat line to another yokomenuchi cutting upward towards the, well, I cut towards the camera, I guess. But thinking here, here, here. And now I'm on my other side, which is fine because I can cut back and it's okay. There are no official order or rules that I know of. These are just different cuts that I was taught or different orders and I have it in my notes. So cutting down, cutting flat, cutting up. Okay, that's your first triple hit combination. Our second one is a little bit cool. I like this one better personally. So I'm in my position, I'm cutting across, I'm turning my blade, I'm cutting back up, and then I flatten across. So I'm coming down, cutting up, and then across. And in Lameko Kali, angle 1, angle 2 is that way. 1, 2, and then you have 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. And so we're kind of taking that same concept. We're going up, down, and then we're coming right back up, but now we're cutting across. So diagonal down, diagonal up, flat. Diagonal down, diagonal up, flat. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And it's super important that you're making sure you're making this edge face the camera as much as possible. Facing the target. You don't want to be holding it backwards. Wouldn't do the job, okay? I want to hold it. So when I go like this, I'm not pulling back up. I am actually rotating my wrist and my hand so the blade is facing the camera. And then the same thing here. So keep that in mind when you're doing your cut. And last but not least, we're gonna initiate with a thrust, just like the last time. So we're gonna have our thrust into our combination. So I'm thrusting into my X. So thrust, I flip that over, cut here, and I draw and I cut. And again, there's no right or wrongs. When I do this, if you wanted to cut across and cut up, if you wanted to do this, come down and come down, that's all fine. I'm just trying to give you some basics for this video so we can build upon it for another video on another day. So I'm thrusting here, cutting down, and then cutting down. So 1, 2, 3. 1, could even go flats if you like that. The problem with going all flat is it's easier for the other person to defend, but it is a cool cut. Here, and then you could even cut down. Like I said, there's no right or wrongs. Do the one that feels best to you guys. Well, there you guys have something kind of simple, something with the katana, your katana cutting class. I tried to wear a little bit more traditional uniform for this, so I had the white top, the gi pants. I was gonna wear my full hakama, but it's really warm today. It's like 92 degrees outside, and throwing that on top of this, whew, I'm already sweating just doing this. If you liked the video, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you like stuff you see on our channel, smash that subscribe button. It really makes a big difference for all of us here at Martial Arts Limited. And you guys are awesome. Keep training, keep safe. This is Sensei JD, and I'm out.